What's up? It's time for another edition of 3-Point Stands presented by Mountain Dew. I am Meghan Triplett. That is John Roser. And Roser, you ready to talk about some NFL action? I mean, that pretty much took over the whole entire weekend. And let's start with the call that we're all waking up talking about, the 4th and goal when it comes to the Packers versus the Buccaneers. They go kick a field goal. It didn't seem to make a lot of sense, but what was your stance when you see the Packers kick that field goal when it was 4th and goal at the 8-yard line?
What are you doing? You kicked a field goal to cut it to 5.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense. It's one thing. If you're kicking it to cut it to 2 or 1 or maybe even 3, then I can kind of get it, because then all you got to do is kick a field goal to either win or tie the game and send it into overtime. But you still needed to score a touchdown after that. So you kick the field goal, and guess what? You still need to score a touchdown to be able to win the game. And then obviously if they wouldn't have kicked it and gone for it and gotten it, they would need the 2-point conversion to be able to tie it. That made it. I mean, I still can't believe that Matt LaFleur did that. And I guarantee you on Green Bay and Milwaukee sports radio today, he is getting absolutely killed for it.
Oh, yeah. Matt LaFleur after the game said he thought that was the right move, the right decision. They thought that they were going to very well get the ball back. But as we all know, Aaron Rodgers never got the chance to get the ball back because Tom Brady was Tom Brady. And then you had that pass interference call that allowed the Buccaneers to, maintain, offense. I was shocked because you have Aaron Rodgers, who is your MVP quarterback, which is looking as if he might win the MVP for this season. You would want to put all your faith in Aaron Rodgers just because of hey, we do not want to give it a chance to give Tom Brady. Yes, Tom Brady threw a couple of picks, but we weren't able to do anything with it after all those picks. And so you're down in the red zone. This could have been your very well chance. 3rd down, I was upset about because it seemed as if Aaron Rodgers had a clear lane where he probably could have ran for it and slid, and if not score a touchdown, at least it would have been 4th and inches or 4th and 1, where the situation would have been different. They were at the 8-yard line, but you got the Super Bowl in your rear view. At this point, you always kind of go for it. That's just my standpoint on it. It didn't seem like it was the right call, but Aaron Rodgers said that it wasn't his decision. He just saw the field goal kicking team kind of come out. He saw the 5 guys come out there, and he was like, okay. And he was throwing Matt LaFleur under the bus without having to really throw him under the bus.
Yeah. No, he absolutely was. I mean, because it made no sense to Aaron Rodgers, just like it made no sense to anybody else watching that game. The only person it seemed to make sense to was Matt LaFleur. I mean, that just – it's the NFC Championship game. We're not talking about week 7 during the regular season. It's the NFC Championship game. What are you doing? The only way you've stopped the Bucs all day is because, Brady's got thrown a pick or 2. That's the only you had not stopped them at all. They've been killing you on 3rd down the entire afternoon. My God, I mean, it really blows my mind that he kicked a field goal right there. I understand his thinking, because he's thinking I have 3 timeouts and I still have the 2-minute warning. But again, you really have not stopped them all afternoon. They've done what they want to do, and you're approaching the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, you're still frustrated about it. I am as well. A piece that, whether you're frustrated or not, it's not quite frustrating to see Tom Brady yet again going to the Super Bowl. It's his 10th Super Bowl. He's got a different jersey on. He's going with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's the first team to play the Super Bowl in their home stadium. They get a chance to do it. And for Tom Brady and what he's in his whole legacy, we've been talking about the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Whether you're a Tom Brady fan or not, because I'm not a Tom Brady fan, I do give credit, though, for what he has been able to do. But what does this do for his legacy, especially when you look at a 43-year-old quarterback who has yet again got another team to the Super Bowl?
I mean, it just adds to it. I mean, he's the best quarterback of all time, and he didn't need to get to the Super Bowl to make anybody think that he's not that it's not like him making the Super Bowl is now someone's going, oh wait, no, because he made it with the Bucs. Now he is the greatest. Like he is the greatest quarterback of all time. There's no doubt about it. It's incredible. And right now on the Belichick and Brady front, Brady looks like he was right. It really does look like is Belichick that awesome, or did he just have Tom Brady for 20 years or 19 years or however many years it was? And that's why they won so much because, that Tampa team was not in the playoffs last year. Now they're in the Super Bowl when they just had Tom Brady. And they also added Rob Gronkowski. They added Leonard Fournette. They added some other pieces on the offensive line and defense. And then you look at the Patriots, and they are not in the playoffs when they lose Tom Brady. So Brady is winning out on this right now. It just adds to his legacy. He's the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's not that I didn't think that he was, the greatest of all time, but now I think it did silence a lot of haters though. As you mentioned, because with Tom Brady leaving the Patriots, he was always going to be compared to, well, can he do it without Bill Belichick? Can Bill Belichick do it without him? I think that silences that whole conversation and that argument. It also silences it. Like we thought that the storylines have changed so much from the start to the finish. We talked about, does he get along with Bruce Arians? Like, is that a thing? Will this offense kind of work for Tom Brady? Is he too old? All that played in. Now we're all just kind of quiet. Like, okay, you go do UTV. You go do you. You're doing it well. Don't listen to everybody else. And all those pieces that he talked about that the Buccaneers added, they added those pieces a lot because of Tom Brady. Tom Brady was helping structure that whole thing. Gronk would have never came out of retirement, as we all know, if it wasn't for Tom Brady. So for that piece of it all, Tom Brady, you have my respect. I've been hating on you for a very long time. It probably won't stop, but you do have my respect. And moving on over to some other NFL storylines, we did the quarterback play and what's going to happen next year. Aaron Rodgers did his post-game press conference talking about he doesn't know where he goes from here. His future is uncertain. And talking about different storylines going into the season, we thought that Aaron Rodgers didn't want to stay with the Packers because they drafted a quarterback. They didn't give him any pieces. But here they are playing the NFC Championship game. Now, what do you think happens? Do you think Aaron Rodgers will still be in a Green Bay Packers jersey next year?
Yes, I think he will be. I hope he's in a 49ers jersey, but I knew
you were going to throw that out there.
Yeah, I think he will be with the Packers next year. I don't think they're going to turn it over to Jordan Love, who they drafted out of Utah State. Yeah, like you said, in the first round last year. I don't think they're going to turn it over to him yet. So just like Rodgers had to play a couple seasons under Brett Favre, I think Jordan Love's going to have to play at least 3 seasons, probably. Maybe it's only 2. Maybe it's next year. Maybe it's only 1 after what he said yesterday, like you were talking about. But I tend to think he'll be back with Green Bay next year, and I think they'll take another run at trying to win the Super Bowl or get there because they've lost back-to-back NFC Championship games. So yeah, I don't think he's going to go anywhere this offseason, but could I see it as a possibility next offseason?
Yeah.
I definitely. The older he gets, the more and more. It's going to be possible that he moves on to a different team because Green Bay will eventually, want to move on from him. But no, I do think he'll be back next year.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you ask anybody, like, where do you go from here right after you just walk off the field and you just lost the NFC Championship game, what do you expect really to say? Like, I don't know where I go from here. Like, I'm still processing that I just lost to Tom Brady. So I think a lot of emotions are involved in these press conferences. And so really quickly, because we have a minute left, I want to know, since you've talked about it, who would you want, though, and the most in a 49ers jersey next year? Because there's a lot of quarterbacks out there.
Watson?
Okay, so you already have it.
But we're not going to get him. It's like we're not going to give up. I know how our front office operates. We're not going to give up 4 first-round picks for him. We're not going to do that. So it is what it is. We may try to get Matthew Stafford.
Right, there's a lot of Matthew
Stafford.
I
love Matthew Stafford, though. I love Matt Stafford. I think he is insanely underrated. And if he comes to the 49ers, it'll be the first time in his career he's ever had a running game.
Okay, well, then we'll see. For Roser said it. He wants Matthew Stafford in a 49ers jersey. So front office, if you're listening, make Roser happy because he had a tough year this year. He had a tough year. That'll do it for this edition of 3 Point Stands presented by Mountain Dew. The Super Bowl is set. It's the Bucs versus the Chiefs. We'll be back next week.